imagination can potentially help you fly. You can create a new, astonishing mental world to go to. You can imagine and reconstruct your mental space by using your mental space, your imagination. You can replace old, damaging stories and memories with new ones, with brighter versions. This is profitable for your everyday life. Imagination does work greatly for your ego observation, after all. And what if you're taken down to an imaginary place of distorted projections, like the ones you have been inputted through mass media? Is it safe to let your imagination, thus your mental space, fly as it wants? What if you mistake your imaginary world with spirituality and think that you are actually seeing beautiful light beings because you can imagine them? This is truly a wonderful world to live in, despite the hardships, as everything has been created from the One, and everything returns to the One, to the creative force of which everything is born. This lies outside your mental constructs. This is pure creativity in the here and now, and you can only experience it through presence, non-thought and non-imagination. Let us tune with this. I wake up in the morning. I pray to Spirit, the primary source of creation, and ask to be given a cleansing and compassionate imagination for my ego observation, the observation of the fake self and the stories that I have created in my mind. Great mystery, I call upon your grace to nourish my imagination, my mental projections, so that I can produce transformative images for my ego. This will help my human self to feel alleviated through compassion. With compassionate, nourishing imagery, I move from lower mental materials of rage, arrogance, self-pity, depression, hatred, to more affectionate ones. I alchemize my inner imagery to new versions of my mental space, bringing light to what has been burdened by mass consciousness and my memory. And thereafter, great mystery, let me totally quit the imagery and transcend to the inner place of stillness, the void, still mind, no mental space, just your hug. Midday comes. I am going to practice visualizations and guided meditations so as to first stimulate a more compassionate image gallery in my distorted mental space of darkness. This long process of inner imagery transformation through visualizations will allow joy and cleanness to flow into my daily life as I substitute the overall visual atmosphere that it is inside me and around me with a more positive one. This is not forced positiveness or urge for obligatory happiness. I know what is happening around me and in my life, but inner transformation and transition from the common damaging imagery that surrounds my field to a cleaner imagery that stimulates more appropriate interactions is always helpful. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out slowly. If I can just imagine a golden light above my head, a light of compassion and understanding for my human version, invading the room and entering my physical body from the head. My crown opens to let the light get in and go through my body. I feel as it expands and starts creating a great golden sphere all around. My heart opens and receives light in order to activate the naturally compassionate dimensions of the heart and anchor this inner light deep inside me, the light of the soul. This way I allow the soul to use my imagination towards connection with the visual inner light that passes through me and rejuvenates my field. The light comes down and it is being directed towards Mother Earth. I can feel the flow of light from top to bottom till the heart of Earth. I can also take feedback as images of harmful conditions and traumas that are resting in my memory and need to be cleansed. Whatever drives me towards compassion comes directly from my soul in order to update my human experience. In the afternoon, I see the myth. I come back to my mental space. All this is my mental and emotional space. Images can come and go during meditations and guided visualizations. I can imagine like a child again and create stories of my own. That traumatic experience I used to have comes back to my memory, but can't be replaced by a brighter one. Does this mean it is gone from my data storage? No. The restrictions of my daily life, painful relationships, moments of hard times that interrupt my imagination over and over again ever lead me to overcome my issues? No. Creating a story by letting my own imagination fly is something like that. I can do what is unthinkable. I can replace pain and anger with compassionate waves that I ask to flow over me. I do things that I simply cannot do in real life. I am dancing with angels. Embark on soul journeys where I meet beloved ancestors and loving spirit animals that empower me with the strength that creation has provided all of us. I fly out to the moon and have a meeting with gods and goddesses that reassure me that in my story everything will turn out right, that I can transform the world simply by imaging. Imagination as a better version and substitution of the previous stories. That, after all, is what I want to do. No reality strings attached. Breathe in and out. Be patient and understanding of the human mechanism. Using your imagination through visualizations and transformative imagery can actually change the frequencies of your mental thinking, moving you to a field of brightness and smoothness bit by bit. If my whole input has been that of violence and darkness, if to my human conditioning, my traumas and my negative experiences, I keep adding darkness, I cannot easily move through this compact field of mud. This has been created on earth throughout hundreds of years. See it. See the darkness in your mental space. Recognize it. It is not you. It is not who you are as a soul. You can use your imagination to progressively move towards a clearer inner space of love and compassion for the human self. First, accept what is and move forward to a more compassionate visual, mental world. Steer your imagination in a childlike way. Start on a clean slate and then move on to the beyond. It is from a place of compassion that you can move easily, step by step, to the void. It is about what comes to you as a whole, body, mind, and soul, at the moment, and nothing more. Easiness and happiness emerges, innocence and beauty, without more stories to accompany your state, without any preconceived or imaginary notions. But I won't underestimate the process. The value of my previous welcoming my imagination to assist me with flying towards an amazing crystal castle of my mental space. I will not regret it. Attention, please. I'm not daydreaming about the future. I'm only inviting a brighter inner imagery in my mental space and sending some light to my mind before the great jump towards oneness. I can imagine that my balcony is a vast garden. Imagine that my city is a wild, ancient forest. Imagine that from my heart space I can connect via streaming with other hearts and be nourished. Imagine that I am swimming along with dolphins and that I am visiting an art gallery to enter into the paintings and join the models. Use your imagination. Start feeling different, better. A smile arises on my face, and then I quit it. Meditations and visualizations are not necessary then. When I am about to jump up, I quit them. I surrender. No thoughts, no images, just presence. Imagination can be a means. Oneness is an end, although not the end. The evening embraces me. I'll give myself an example. My friend Simeon used to be flying on the sky with the archangels. He wouldn't even close his eyes, and he would be feeling a sense of lightness, tenderness, and acceptance. He used to describe these inner trips in detail, and his whole being would transform by the sweetness. But then he would come back and see our faces and get sad again. He was so young, only a child he was. He didn't know how to keep the mind still at that time, so he went back to praying, asking to restrain the energy of the imagination in order to permanently move towards that space that he knew was somewhere there inside him. The always inevitable imagination of the beginner, he said, brings about distortions if we just stick to it and keep imagining that the imagery of sweetness that we create through our mental space is the inner space of oneness. No, it is not. How young he was, Simeon. How absolutely inspired to get me back to the true spiritual life. It is inevitable in the initial period. Not a mistake, he insisted, but it might become dangerous. So much arrogance lies there to believe that the actual images that your mind creates are true, are real blessings, real state of oneness, just because you are used to creating a placebo effect of sweetness. No, don't let images weaken the soul as the mind finds another way to intrude in the heart and steal the attention. A young boy he was, which enabled him to observe what is happening in the inner world of the soul without mental drugs. Silently, finally, out of thoughts, out of images. Whatever approaches as an image stays out of the pure state of oneness, the state of grace. We, his friends and listeners, often let our imagination arise and dreamily ascend to cloudy heights, perplexing the heavenly with the worldly. But he was kind. He was patient with us, unimaginably patient in his emptiness, in oneness. At night, I call upon the divine grace. She is the one to destroy thinking. Imagination is a gift for our human life. It produces ideas, thoughts, images in our minds, and we can build dialogues, situations, epilogues, stories with light that will make our human mental space brighter. But without creativity of the one, without oneness, presence, it does not develop in inner reality. Dear Mother, what we imagine through your kindness gives rise, if we want, to something pure. And now that we are all able to imagine a better version of the human self in the human template, a better version of the physical world, we might be able to create it with your help. And creating it means taking out our thoughts and putting in stillness, listening to your voice in the void. Heart prayer to the One for all humans to first transform any image and thought to light, and then quit thoughts in order to manifest absence of mental frequencies. Dear Diary, good night.